Hi there, Henry Byer here with Strong for Life. In this video, I'm going to show you a few things you can do to improve your ankle mobility. Now, this video is by no means comprehensive, but it is a really good place to start. And if you implement these ideas into your mobilization and warm-up work, you will find that you will improve your ankle mobility significantly. So we're going to do some rolling and some stretching. That's sort of the focus of the exercises for improving ankle mobility. And the first thing we want to do when we're going to work on something like ankle mobility is we want to test our, I need to move this this way. So we want to test where our current ankle mobility is. So this is called the wall touch. It's a wall touch test and wall touch exercise. We'll be doing it as an exercise a little bit later. And by the way, this video is a little bit on the longer side, but it's worth it to watch the whole thing so you get the whole gamut of exercises you can do to improve your flexibility. So when you're doing the wall touch test, you want to have your foot a certain distance away from the wall, start closer, and then without lifting your heel up, move your knee forward until it touches the wall. And then keep moving your foot backwards until you get to a point where you can't quite touch the wall without your heel coming up. My left ankle is stiffer than my right ankle. So I really want to gauge all of my work based on the mobility of my left ankle until the ankles are even. But I also want to check my right ankle. So now I'll go in with my right ankle and I can roughly put it where my left foot is, and I move forward and I can just get a little bit further with my right ankle. So now that I know that, I know roughly where my current level of ankle mobility is, I can move into my exercises. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to work on the foot. One of the rules of, not rules, but guidelines of doing mobility work is to work on the area below and above the joint. And I want you to spend about 10 minutes, a minimum of 10 minutes working on this. When you do it, a minimum of 10 minutes a day of mobility work is important. And I talk about that, how to go about structuring your mobility work in a different video. So I'm not going to go into depth with it here, but you want to start with, I like to start with below my ankle and then move to above my ankle. And so we're going to roll out our feet first. And I'm going to use a ball. So like a tennis ball is probably a pretty good ball to start with. It's a nice size and it's fairly soft. Now if a tennis ball is super hot, creates a lot of pain for you, you might need to go to a bigger, softer ball to begin with. And then as you work through the tissue in your foot, eventually you'll need a denser, smaller ball. And I have a foam ball by Yoga Tune-Up, which is sort of a dense foam ball. So it's the same size as a tennis ball, but it's just harder. And then I also have a lacrosse ball, and I'm working with lacrosse balls now. So it's the same size as a tune-up ball, but it's even harder than the dense foam. And after this is a smaller ball like a lacrosse ball. And so all I do is I roll the ball underneath my foot, like so. Just roll it around until you find a spot, like right there, that's painful, and then you just smash into a little bit. You can flex your toes as well. You want to spend about 2 minutes on this, on each foot, just rolling it around. 1 minute to 2 minutes on each foot, rolling it around. After you have done one trigger point, takes 3 to 5 seconds on one trigger point, move to another one and work on that one. And after about a minute or two, go to your next foot and then work on that. Again, my left ankle is stiffer than my right ankle. My left foot is more sensitive than my right foot, and my left calf is more sensitive than my right calf. So all of those things combined are why my left ankle is stiffer than my right ankle. So by working on this, especially spending more time on this left foot, I will improve that mobility. So once I'm done with rolling, another thing that you can do with your feet is just work on your toes here, like smashing, stretching out your toes a little bit. So get into this dorsiflexion with your toes nice and bent and just push on them a little bit so that they get a little bit of a stretch too. And I mean, this left foot, and this was an injured foot, so it kind of makes sense that it's a little harder to deal with. And you just work on that bending of those toes. So that's the foot area that you can work on. And then you take a foam roller and roll out your calves. So let me scooch back here a little bit. Actually, since I'm going to be on the ground here, let me just... I had this camera angle much better, and now it seems all weird. Anyway, so now you roll out your calves, especially your lower calf muscle, the soleus. But you roll them out, and at first you might find that you're only able to do this with both legs on here, but eventually you want to be able to have one leg on top of the other, because that'll just get deeper into the tissue. The harder the material and the smaller the item, like the golf ball being smaller than the lacrosse ball, the deeper into the tissue you can get. But you're still doing the same thing. You're looking for that trigger point. And there's one like right there. You smash down on it and go about a few seconds there, move your toes back and forth, and then keeping going on. You know, the more you focus on this and not make it easy, the better the results will be. If you just sort of kind of gloss over this, then it's just going to take longer to get the results that you want, and you just won't be maximizing the use of your time. By coming in here 10 solid minutes of working on your ankle mobility, you will make vast improvements. So again, you want to find those trigger points, smash down into them, move your ankle back and forth so you get a little bit of a flossing action on that spot, and then move to another one. So you do your calves, and with your ankle mobility, it's really this lower soleus muscle that is restricting ankle mobility. So we've rolled out that, then you can roll out the front of your foot as well. And you can use the roller for that. Again, the smaller the instrument, you can put a lacrosse ball underneath there as well. It's a little bit more uncomfortable, and you will definitely find some trigger points when you use the lacrosse ball on this muscle in the front of your shin. I also have this roller thing. So yeah, just different implements to help improve the condition of your muscles. So once you've done your rolling, then you can move to some stretching. And we're going to stretch the front and back of the leg. To stretch the front of the leg, you're going to get into this kneeling position, have your toes pointed behind you, and you want to have your ankles inside your knees. So you don't want your ankle out beyond the plane of your knee. You want it inside, and then you're just going to sit back on this bad boy and let your weight stretch out these muscles on the front side of your leg. So the rolling, doing the rolling first helps with improving muscle density, reducing muscle density. And then once you've done that, you can get to some stretching. So you hold this, and some people will say, 1 minute to 2 minutes. For some of these types of items, doing multiple sets of about 30 seconds can work well too. But work up to about 2 minutes of stretching on that. And once you've stretched that, then you can move to stretching the back of the leg. And there's this bench, what's called a bench stretch. I have this stool here. Oh, my head's now out of this thing, so hold on. This is the problem with my current video system, is when I'm on the ground, it's too high, and when I'm standing, it's too low. So with the bench system, what we're trying to do is stretch the back of the calf. So it's good to have something that you can pull on. I can pull on the corners of this stool. But so I get my chest down against my knee, keeping my heel flat. I just pull into this and I hold this stretch like this. And hold it for, again, 30 seconds. So if you do these for 30 seconds, you can do 30 seconds down, and then you can stand up and do this, and you can go back and forth. Then you do the other leg. And really feel that stretch in the back of the leg. And then finally, we come back to the wall touch. So the wall touch, as I said, is both a test and it's an exercise. So you find that distance with your stiffer ankle that is just about the limit of what you can do. And then do about 10 reps of going back and forth like this. And just push into it. Keep that heel down and push into that knee. And it's just a different way of getting that stretch. And then do it with the healthier or better, the knee with a better ankle with a better range of motion. And there you have it. That's a few exercises that you can do to improve your ankle mobility, which, as I said, is super important for running, biking, walking, squatting, knee health. A lot of times our knees get injured because we lack mobility in our ankles and in our hips. And then the knee is forced to compensate for that lack of mobility. So focusing on ankle mobility and hip mobility, but in this case, in this video, ankle mobility can help protect your knees and keep them healthy. So spend time every day working on mobility. And if you got a bunch of issues that need addressing, then you just slowly work on them over time. But for ankle mobility, these are a great few exercises that you can start doing immediately to help improve the health and range of motion that you have in your ankles. So that's it for today. I want to thank you again for watching the video. If you have any questions, please comment below and I will answer them. And then be sure to catch the videos on hip mobility and thoracic mobility. These are the three areas that we want to focus on for improving our athletic performance and overall health and quality of life. So once again, thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you next time.